Today's episode is you and me talking all about mock campaigns. I wanted to talk about this today because we recently relaunched Campaign Studio, which is Sky Society's campaign studio that gives you a ton of, I think there's over like 200 Canva templates in there that are branded for some of your favorite brands like Rare Beauty, Dairy Boy, Rhode, Fenty, Topicals, Vacation. There's a ton of really awesome brands in there. And then we kind of did the heavy lifting for you and making them all look amazing, gorgeous, teaching you how to build a mock campaign. And this is kind of what we call like our mini course, but it's really template heavy. That's kind of the main thing that goes into Campaign Studio. And it's really what it sounds like. It's a studio where you can kind of go in, grab campaigns. They're all Canva templates. We give you girls the presentation version of the templates. If you have a free Canva account, if you have a paid Canva account, you also get the website versions. Each one also comes with a matching resume for that brand. I'll talk more about what goes into Campaign Studio. It's something that we're really proud of. We put a lot of effort into it. And if you're trying to build mock campaigns, and we'll kind of go into why those matter, this is a really, really great course that you can get to help you get started. So let's talk about mock campaigns, what they are, why they matter, and if you should create one. So this idea that came for me creating Campaign Studio, there's nothing else that exists like it. There's not a course that exists like it. That's something that I'm really proud of at Sky Society is we create things that don't already exist. And everything we create is around experience building. And this is another version of that. So at Sky Society, we create experience building resources. And obviously the one that we're most known for is our accelerator, which is kind of a version of a mini master's degree where you get to actually get real experience and build a portfolio from scratch and learn about marketing and get mentors. It's super extensive. And then Campaign Studio is meant to be something that's a much lighter lift. You can do it at home. But again, I wanted to create it because I didn't really see people talking about mock campaigns. And I know a lot of people that go to start building mock campaigns, they don't quite know where to start. And their mock campaigns might not look as good as they want them to, just because they might not have that design experience or that ability to really emulate a brand. And so that's what I set out to do when creating Campaign Studio. It was previously called Marketing Experience Lab. So if you've heard of that before, but we wanted to make sure that we kind of named it something that described it a bit better. So that's why we kind of went to the studio, because that's really what it's meant for, a place for you to kind of play. And so, yeah, going back to why I created it, why I'm a really big believer in creating mock campaigns is because the number one pain point that a lot of Sky Society marketing girlies face is feeling like they don't have enough marketing experience, feeling like you guys don't, you feel like that's a reason why you might be suffering from imposter syndrome or applying to jobs and not really hearing back. And so, similar to the Accelerator, Campaign Studio is a way to combat that. Now, the Accelerator and Campaign Studio combat it in very different ways. Like I mentioned, in the Accelerator, you are actually building real experience, you're doing real campaigns. It's live instruction, it's super intensive. There's mentorship, there's additional certifications for softwares. There's a ton that goes into it. And Campaign Studio is self-paced. It's a pre-recorded video modules. And then also it's about getting mock experience. So mock experience meaning like you don't actually work for Dairy Boy, but you're going to pretend like you're the social media coordinator at Dairy Boy, and you're going to create a social media strategy for them. We also do a lot of workshops. If you are subscribed to our newsletter or in our LinkedIn group, we do these, we used to call them Marketing Experience Lab workshops. And that's where girls would kind of use Campaign Studio to create mock brand collaborations and campaigns and present them, which is really fun. And the whole purpose of doing mock campaigns is to show brands what you are capable of. So it is not real experience. You're not getting real metrics. To be quite frank, it's not as impactful oftentimes as real experience is, right? Because when you're applying to jobs, employers really value that real experience. And it's one thing to design something that looks beautiful. It's another thing for that to actually get published or sent out to thousands of people. And so there is a difference between mock and real experience, and they're not the same. However, mock experience truly is valuable. excuse me, even though it's not necessarily real experience. And that is because I like to call it playing pretend. Like you are playing pretend as if you were, yeah, the brand marketing manager at Rode, or you were in email marketing at Skims, or any of these fun brands that we have in Campaign Studio. Each of the brands, we've kind of built out a mock like campaign template for email marketing, social media, for Instagram and TikTok, influencer marketing, brand marketing. So you can kind of pick what role you want to play and then do a mock campaign. And this is really to put inside your portfolio to be able to say, hey, I might not have direct brand experience, but if I did work for one of these brands, this is what I would do on the brand side, or this is what I would do on the social side. So it's a huge step above and beyond resumes. And what I'm a big believer at, and what Sky Society really believes, is that portfolios are going to be the future of resumes, especially as AI becomes more prominent. Everybody can have AI write their resume for them. And so portfolios are a much better way to differentiate yourself, to showcase your work. And I really believe we're going to see more and more of them, and they're going to become more valuable. And if you want to build a portfolio, that's what Sky Society Accelerator is for. But if you want to build mock experience for a portfolio you already have, or if you don't have a portfolio and you just want to do these mock campaigns because you want to post them on LinkedIn, or maybe you're applying to a job at Park, let's say Park is hiring, and you can use one of these templates to create a mock campaign for Park, and also use the custom resumes that we have. So that way your resume is like fully Park branded and is a fun way for you to stand out. Then that's really what Campaign Studio is for. And now you definitely don't need Sky Society's course to create mock campaigns. Anybody can do that. The reason why we created what we did is because we want the people who get our course to have campaigns that look 100 times better than everybody else's. And if you see in our templates, they're absolutely gorgeous. So much effort has gone into building them. And also, the video modules, like teaching you how to actually build those campaigns and walking you through step by step on how to use the templates, teaching you Canva tricks and all of those things, because anybody can create a mock campaign, but it's also really creating something that looks visually appealing. I've been asked this question a lot of like, what matters more in a portfolio, aesthetics or results? And it's truly both. Like, you definitely want to have that knowledge and that skill set showcased, but also the way it looks matters just as much, because again, the purpose of a mock campaign is to allow a brand to envision what you would create for them. And you want that to be as gorgeous as it is impactful and educational. So really balancing those two things. And so that's why we created Campaign Studio. So you're not having to waste, days and days trying to perfect the designs and the layout and teach yourself how to do it. It saves you a ton of time and allows you to just focus on being creative and really coming up with the campaign and, adding your own personal touch to each of those things. So I really believe mock campaigns are such a great way. If you are at home right now and you feel like you are struggling to get experience and you want something that you can do tonight immediately, that's where mock campaigns come through. And again, I love to call them playing pretend. So I'm gonna walk you through what I think the process of creating a mock campaign should look like. And I think it's really fun. So I would start by picking a brand that either you want to work for. Let's say this brand is currently hiring and you want to stand out by creating a mock campaign. Or I would think about an industry that you want to work in and creating a mock campaign in that industry so you can kind of build up your industry experience. So if you really want to work in beauty, you can start with a brand in beauty. So we can use Rode as an example. Okay. So you would pretend that you work at Rode. Then you could kind of decide, do you want it to be email, social, like what type of campaign do you want to do? Let's say I want to do kind of a brand partnership campaign. I want to do a collab. I want to pretend that Rode is collabing with, who should Rode collab with? Rode is collabing with Lummy. Okay. They're coming up with like a skin gummy, and maybe like a gummy that's going to help you have less acne and improve your glowing skin with peptides. Okay. If you have Campaign Studio, so if you have Sky Society's Campaign Studio, you would just go to the partnership deck that's already created for you, and you would start there. If you don't have Campaign Studio, then you would just go and design it from scratch. So either way, those are your starting points. Then it goes into kind of creating what the campaign would look like. I do think sometimes AI can be fun. You can kind of go into ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT if Rode and Lemmy were to collab on a gummy, can you create an image of what that would look like? And honestly, get really specific on what you want it to look like, what you want it to say, the colors you want it to be, the size that you want it to be. You can give it images as references. And I think you can go really fun there. And I want you to really think through it as if you were a brand marketer. Again, if you have Campaign Studio, we kind of give you all those points that we think you should touch on to really showcase what your marketing strategy would look like. And if you're doing it from scratch, you can also just kind of play around and how would you approach a brand campaign? And not just showing the visuals, but also thinking through like what would the strategy be? How would you launch it? Why is it important? Who would the target audience be? And really going through all those steps and taking the person looking at your mock campaign through a journey. What does that journey look like? Okay, here's the vision for the campaign. Or you can even start a step further. Like these are the partnerships. This is what we do in Campaign Studio is we have you start with analyzing previous collaborations that the brand has had. So maybe you would analyze Rhodes, Coachella activation or Rhodes collaboration with Matilda Jerf or previous ones that they've done, what they did well, what they didn't do well, and then how that's kind of inspiring you on what you're suggesting, why what you're suggesting really is impactful during this time that we're in, this having that cultural context and why you think it'll be successful, walking them through it, showing them visuals. That's where I think it's fun to play with AI and kind of design what you think it would look like. And so the process is super creative. It's also really fun. And you might not have an internship at Rode or you might not work for Rode, but you really get to, like I said, I like to call it play pretend. And you really get to pretend like you work for Rode and create content for that. Once you've created it, then what I recommend is that you link it in your portfolio. So usually what I have Sky Society Accelerator students do that also have Campaign Studio is they'll add an additional slide to their portfolio. And on that slide, usually I say, don't link more than like 3 of these mock campaigns. If you're kind of linking them in general. If you're applying to a specific job at one of these companies, then you can, send the ones for that job. But if you want to add these just kind of as like general mock campaigns to your portfolio, I would create a page in your portfolio titled mock campaigns, and I would have 3 of them linked there that look really aesthetic. In Campaign Studio, we give you girls a template for how to link it in your portfolio. But you can also design something in Canva and link it there in your portfolio so employers can see it. I also think it makes a great LinkedIn post. If you've been wondering what to post on LinkedIn, I think those are great. And I would also challenge you to post it on TikTok. I see a lot of people that will make a TikTok video about the bot campaigns that they've created and what they would do for a collab if they worked for whatever brand that they were talking through. So there's lots of fun ways to share it, but don't forget to share your mock campaign. You put all that work in it and you really want to share it. The other thing I want to say is make sure you clarify that it is a mock campaign. It's the worst thing. Like I've done this before where I'm looking at somebody's application and it feels like they worked for that brand. It's like, oh my gosh, they worked for Dairy Boy. Like they have all this experience here and they're not being clear that that work was mock work. So just make sure you're really upfront that you didn't have an internship there. You didn't work for that brand. You want to be really transparent that these are mock campaigns that you created because the worst thing that can happen is an employer thinks that you're lying or you're trying to hide something. So just be really transparent that they're mock. And again, this is such a great way. You can go if you had Campaign Studio right now, or if you wanted to, you could go tonight and build a mock campaign in a couple of hours and add it to your portfolio the same day. Okay, so that's what's really fun about mock campaigns is that you can do them immediately and you can add them to your portfolio immediately. You can post about them immediately. You don't have to wait to get a job or an internship. I also think it's cute if you tag the brands, let the brands know that you did them. I think the branded resumes are such an incredible way to stand out. I feel like we saw people like Jenna Palick do branded resumes to get her job at TikTok when the pandemic was full force, but I feel like they've kind of gone away. And I think a branded resume is such a fun way to stand out. And so obviously in Campaign Studio, we create them for all the brands that we include, but you can also, try and do that yourself as well. And so there's lots of fun ways to stand out. Obviously at Sky Society, we're big believers in experience building and doing things not every other applicant is doing. If you're applying to marketing jobs, you know that marketing jobs are super saturated. They're super competitive. It's really hard to stand out. And mock campaigns and Campaign Studio is such an incredible way to stand out when you are applying to jobs. So I hope you take this and I hope you get inspired to go build mock campaigns. I hope you want to go get Campaign Studio. I'm going to put a discount code for you in the comments to purchase Campaign Studio and try it. I think it's absolutely incredible. I have girls that come back to it year after year. We're always adding new brands to it. You can also suggest new brands if you have any suggestions for us. But it's such a fun way to be creative. And if you like love marketing, this doesn't feel like work at all. It truly just feels like fun. And I think that's what's so fun about the marketing girly community here at Sky Society. So I hope you feel inspired to create mock campaigns. They definitely are so impactful. And it's such a great way to overcome lack of marketing experience. Okay, girls, that wraps up another short and sweet solo episode for this week. I will be back next week with an amazing guest for you on Marketing Girly. Until then, I hope to see you in our community and in the LinkedIn group. Have an amazing rest of your evening.